filled out, and somebody literally made a AI picture of the Caitlin Clark thank you card that should go out to Caitlin from every player in the league as part of the Caitlin Clark stimulus package, as my boy Ben Daniel would call it. Yeah, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Let's look at this.
Cards of gratitude. Every WNBA player sent Caitlin Clark thank you notes created by AI. That's where we are at the moment, and given that we're experiencing the most significant wage shift in WNBA history, and it's not happening in a vacuum, these new salary figures under the new CBA might actually be genuine. The $2.2 billion media rights agreement that finances these increases would not have been possible if the Caitlin Clark effect hadn't caused ratings to soar in 2024. Let's quantify this. Aaliyah Boston's number rises from 94,000 to 574,000. This is the information that everyone is overlooking, but it's a 600% rise. Boston's actual compensation could reach $1.1 million with performance incentives for reaching the All-WNBA team. Caitlin Clark's income increases from $85,000 to $528,000. Paige Buchers, who hasn't yet participated in a WNBA game, is expected to receive $500,000 from the start.
Clark, $85,528K. Now, the reason that Aaliyah is becoming eligible for that incentive is because she's been in the league 1 year longer than Caitlin Clark. Paige Buchers goes from $80K to $500,000, cool $500,000. Cameron Brett, $85K to $493,000. Hell, she missed most of an entire season. Sonia Cintron, $80K to $400.
This is when things start to get interesting. Despite missing the most of her debut campaign due to an ACL tear, Cameron Brink still reaches $493,000. One of the most underappreciated players in the league, Sonia Cintron, moves from $80,000 to $436,000. However, the true narrative is about those who are earning less than anticipated rather than merely those who are earning more. Camila Cardoso is paid more than Angel Reese. Take a moment to consider that. Cardoso was selected 3rd overall in the draft. Reese finished 7th. Camila is therefore $110,000 higher on the rookie pay scale. There are some awkward discussions around perceived worth versus actual remuneration since draft position counts. Despite selling out her own Reebok sneaker line, starting a podcast, hosting a festival with allegedly low attendance, and building an entire personal brand on being Caitlin Clark's adversary, Reese's basic salary is only $376,000 while Cardoso's is $486,000.
Spot track, and this is the highest paid among the rookie classes involved here. Aaliyah Boston 1, Diamond Miller? Huh? Say what? What? All right. Number 2, ahead of Caitlin Clark. What the hell? All right. My girl Camila Cardoso, she making a cool $110,000 more than Angel Reese.
Diamond Miller earns $536,000. Everyone who follows this league was immediately struck by the figure. Compared to Caitlin Clark from the 2024 class, she is the second highest paid player from the 2023 draft class. How does that operate? Simple. She qualifies for various escalator bonuses under the CBA framework because she has been in the league for a full year. This is where the new collective bargaining agreement's intricacy becomes apparent. Base pay is no longer the only factor. All of the NBA choices, all-star appearances, championship incentives, performance escalators, and club achievement bonuses pile up on top of one another. Players that make the most of these bonuses may see their actual take-home pay double that of their advertised basic salary, but they must earn it on the court and be on a team that can afford to pay those escalators without incurring luxury tax penalties.
Notes, let's look at the pretty card. Oh, we even have man, I gotta tell you, AI, you're coming up in the world. You are. You're like 5 seconds away from activating Skynet at this point. Caitlin, thank you for the incredible energy, the passion, and the historic impact you brought to the WNBA. You've lifted the entire league. We're proud to call you our sister. With love and respect, the players of the WNBA. And
what is the true source of this money, then? The math is simple, but no one in the league office wants to explicitly address that question. Disney, Amazon, and NBC just agreed to a $2.2 billion media rights deal for the WNBA. That amounts to almost $220 million going into league coffers annually. You're looking at over $300 million in annual media revenue when you include the renewed CBS and ION deals, which were formerly worth $60 million annually and probably doubled in the latest negotiation. Compare that to the league's position 3 years ago. The prior media agreement was valued at about $50 million annually. Let's be clear about the factors that led to 23 of the league's top 25 most watched games in 2024. That's a 600% increase in media rights value. While non-fever games barely managed to reach 300,000 viewers on ESPN, Indiana Fever games averaged over 1 million. The business case is self-written.
Let's come on now. This is great, but what happens when the Caitlin Clark effect wears off and they're back to 3,000 fans a game? Damn. D-Zam. Wow. How the F is Cameron making more than Angel Reese? I don't know. Okay. We'll see here. We'll see. Angel Reese, $1 for every missed shot and rebound. Nice. Ooh.
However, the league is experiencing strain due to this difficult fact. Although the rewards are spread throughout the entire roster system, this wage explosion is primarily related to one player's ability to draw. Rookies are now making $500,000 in their first season, while veterans who have been working hard in this league for 10 years play overseas in Turkey or Russia during the off-season to make ends meet. Is that reasonable? Depending on who you ask. According to the Veteran Viewpoint, they should receive the largest share of this new income as they founded the league and survived on meager pay. According to the Rookie Viewpoint, they are currently driving attendance and ratings, thus they are making every penny. In the midst lies the uncomfortable reality that Caitlin Clark's popularity is responsible for 90% of this additional revenue, but she is bound by a rookie-scale deal that pays her less than a number of players who can't fill a high school gym.
With CBS/ION, I don't know what that new deal, how much that media rights deal is. It was $60 million per year just for that part. I got to think it's got to be twice that now, maybe. 120 million or something. My guess would be the media rights that they're working with right now is somewhere around 300 million a year. All right. So that's where this money is coming from. All right. It's always going to be media rights deals. That's the way it works. So anyway.
The comment sections are rather harsh. If equality was genuine, they'd be making $50,000, a user said. Although that is severe, it highlights the basic economic issues that the WNBA has faced since its establishment in 1997. The league has never made money on its own. For 27 years, it has been supported by the NBA, which bears the loss as part of its larger commitment in the basketball ecosystem. The typical WNBA team makes roughly $10 million a year. In contrast, NBA teams make an average of $300 million. Basic market dynamics, attendance, viewership, and sponsorship funds are the main causes of the enormous disparity. Here's what altered in 2024, though. In a single season, Caitlin Clark's presence increased Indiana Fever revenue by an estimated $40 million. She brought a college fan base with her that really purchases tickets and attends games, which is 4 times the average team income.
Oh, shit. Now the players can't be getting detained by Russia. Brittany Griner doesn't find that joke funny. I hear he does not find that funny at all. Shame on you guys. Wow. Putin's like, damn, I'm going to have to pay y'all more money to get you over here now, huh? Yeah. Are they even playing ball in Russia anymore? Putin was paying.
The comment's allusion to Russia is more sinister than it first appears. For many years, elite WNBA players earned more money playing abroad during the off-season than they did in the league. While her WNBA salary was $227,000, Brittany Griner was earning almost $1 million while playing for UMMC Ekaterinburg in Russia. Because of this financial situation, she was in Russia in February 2022 when she was caught for possessing cannabis, which resulted in a 10-month jail sentence that needed to be resolved through a prisoner exchange. WNBA players were able to make ends meet through the foreign pipeline, but there were serious hazards involved. Poor safety standards, political unpredictability, foreign legal systems, and 8 months of annual family separation. The goal of the new CBA pay scale is to do away with that requirement. Players no longer need to pursue Turkish or Russian money if they can earn between $700,000 and $1 million in the WNBA. It should not be undervalued because it is a real improvement in quality of life. Beyond the monetary quantities, this salary revolution is truly crucial for the following reasons. For the first time in WNBA history, athletes can pursue a career in this league exclusively without having to make decisions based only on money. That fundamentally alters how the league cultivates talent, keeps stars, and vies for recognition in the larger sports world. However, it also generates a new pressure that didn't previously exist. Expectations were low when players were earning $80,000. No one anticipated that WNBA games would be able to match NBA attendance or ratings. For a devoted fan base, it was a niche product. Now that media corporations are investing billions and wages are approaching 7 figures, performance standards have drastically changed. A premium product will be demanded by viewers who pay high ticket prices and watch on national television. The Caitlin Clark stimulus package comment strikes a different chord in that regard. Since the players who receive the largest raises aren't the ones generating the revenue, the uncomfortable reality is that the majority of these wage increases are financed by the money she generated. Aaliyah Boston is elevated to $1.1 million in part due to her exceptional skill as an all-WNBA player. Additionally, she plays with Caitlin Clark on a team that sold out every stadium they went to. Does Boston still command that compensation when Clark is taken out of the picture? Perhaps, perhaps not. Players' discussions about the league's expansion already show the stress this causes. The notion that Clark should be given credit for the increase in ratings has been openly rejected by some veterans who contend that the league was already expanding and that her arrival was coincidental. Others have been more understanding, admitting that her celebrity status sped up a process that may have taken 10 more years otherwise. However, very few have been willing to publicly state what the financial data makes clear. Without Caitlin Clark's 2024 season, this CBA doesn't happen, or at least not with these numbers. Take a look at the specific escalators built into the new CBA structure. Players who make all WNBA teams receive sizable bonuses. Players on championship teams receive additional bumps, and all-star selections trigger raises. These are all performance-based incentives designed to reward excellence, which may seem reasonable on the surface, but there is a problem. Media attention and fan voting, both of which are heavily influenced by team success and individual popularity. Despite being a rookie, Caitlin Clark led the league in assists, earned the first-team All-WNBA, and placed second in the MVP voting. These accomplishments set off escalators, but they also occurred as a result of her playing 40 games, receiving extensive media attention, and having national television viewers evaluate each performance. Players on teams with no national televised games, on the other hand, had to put in twice as much effort for half the recognition. Visibility is not fairly distributed, and the system rewards it just as much as skill. The ramifications on a global scale are as important. Due to their superior compensation and treatment, European and Asian leagues have been stealing WNBA talent for decades. The leverage now changes as WNBA wages rise. Players have the option to stay at home or demand better circumstances elsewhere. That's already taking place. A number of elite athletes who had previously spent every off-season overseas have declared that they will remain in the US this winter in order to recuperate and practice. That is a direct consequence of their lack of prior financial security. However, this is the question that no one wants to voice out. When the Caitlin Clark effect fades, what happens? Because someday it will. Perhaps not the following season or the season after, but eventually the novelty wears off. Casual fans move on to something else, and the WNBA returns to its core audience. Can the league maintain these wages on its organic revenue after that? Or are we preparing for a financial reckoning when the media contracts are up for renewal in 3 to 5 years? What happens when the Caitlin Clark fad wears off and they're back to 3,000 people a game is a cruel comment. It's not totally unjust, though. Attendance and viewership surged in the 2024 season, but they were mostly focused on Fever games and Clark matchups. Less than half of the viewers frequently watched non-Fever games on the same networks. That isn't league-wide development that can be sustained. The entire league is on the back of that one player. The complexity of this problem is aptly illustrated by Angel Reese's circumstances. Compared to the $74,000 she earned as a rookie, her current salary of $376,000 is life-altering. She is the one with a podcast, the sneaker contract, the festival appearances, and the social media following, but she is also witnessing competitors and teammates earn far more. In their debut season, Camila Cardoso outperformed her from a basketball standpoint. However, from a financial and marketing standpoint, Reese's image and brand help the league make more money. Which one ought to be compensated more? Your podcast downloads and Instagram followers are irrelevant to the CBA. It is concerned with on-court performance measures, years of service, and draft position. That's definitely the best strategy for maintaining competitive integrity, but it leads to strange scenarios where the player with higher numbers earns more than the player who drives apparel sales. And that could be detrimental in the long run in a league that is in dire need of developing individual star power to compete for attention. Consider the particular situation this places Caitlin Clark in. In her second season, she is earning a whopping $528,000. Her teammates are earning twice as much as they would on any other squad, though, because of her. Media firms spent $2 billion in the league's future because of her, and the CBA negotiations produced enormous raises for all. However, she is unable to express any of that in public without being branded as conceited or polarizing. She plays basketball, keeps quiet, and observes how everyone else gains from the ecology she established. The joke about the thank you card is funny, because it's true. Because of what Caitlin Clark achieved in 2024, every WNBA player is earning greater money. That is established financial truth, not an opinion. The negotiations for the media partnerships were predicated on forecasts of her star power driving future growth. Her earnings were used to finance the CBA raises. Additionally, she attracted millions of casual viewers who had never watched a WNBA game before, which contributed to the league's widespread prominence. Therefore, whether these salaries are sustainable or justified is not the true question. The true question is whether the WNBA can create a solid enough foundation to outlive its current superstar. Because as of right now, the entire financial structure is predicated on the idea that Caitlin Clark will remain popular, healthy, and in the league for the ensuing 10 years. The entire system collapses if any of those presumptions are violated. When these media deals are up for review in 3 years, what do you think will happen? Do the networks see continuous growth across the entire league? Or do they see one guy propping up numbers while everyone else battles to grab viewers? More significantly, how does the league develop other stars capable of carrying that load? Because the WNBA hasn't truly expanded if, in 2027, casual fans are still only aware of Caitlin Clark. It has just grown increasingly reliant on one individual. Leave a comment with your ideas. Do players receive compensation based on a rookie's ability to grab attention? Or are these wages justified by the product on the court? Given her influence on league income, should Caitlin Clark be earning noticeably more than everyone else? We're just getting started, so let me know where you stand and make sure you're subscribed.